the solidification starts, the crystallization starts. Of course, depending on the circumstances and so on, as I've explained a little bit earlier. And we are talking about crystallization at the mechanism of solidification. So this is then the time that you have to wet the surface. What also happens is that the crystallites will immobilize more and more the hot melt. And at a certain moment, wetting of the hot melt is not possible anymore. I have said that that will be at the starting of the crystallization, but of course, if there are only small crystallites there, you can still wet the substance. But for polyethylene, for instance, this will happen very quickly, and it will be practically the same moment. But okay, it will be a little bit different. So the open time is very close to the start of the crystallization. And this, there's also the case for other polymers which are also related to ethylene, like EVA, because it's ethylene vinyl acetate and so on. But it is also possible that the crystallization is somewhat delayed. For instance, I have explained about the polypropylene hot melts, where the crystallization happens slower. So then the open time will be later in comparison with the starting point of the crystallization. But also the wax has a certain effect, or a big effect normally, has a big effect in the open time. So I suppose in this slide that we are using a similar type of wax, but the wax have a different congealing point, abbreviated with CP. Congealing point is also the point where the crystallization of the wax starts. And so if you have a wax with a high congealing point, then you will have also a short open time. So as I've said before, a DC is a useful tool to determine the starting temperature of a wax or a polymer, or of the hot melt itself. So it helps you a lot to understand the difference in different types of hot melts. So that was also something that I did. So you could measure different, for instance, if you have compared different hot melts which are made by with a polyethylene type of wax, and you look, you measure the, you make a scan, DSC scan of the different hot melts. Well, the onset temperature is very related to the open time. You can make a regression line, and you will see that it will give you a good prediction of the open time of a polyethylene type of a hot melt with a polyethylene wax inside. Then the hot wax, as we have seen, is a combination of wetting and wet adhesion. In practice, the hot melt will have indeed a certain tack at a certain temperature, but it will cool down after the application of the hot melt and after the substrate is brought on the hot melt. And this graph describes the rheological behavior of an EVA hot melt with a PE wax. And the graph shows the two parameters, G prime and G double prime. And G double prime is effective viscosity, and G prime is the elastic behavior. So it starts from here. So we're going from left to right. The temperature goes down because I've put the axis in the other direction. It's high temperature, low temperature.